Good morning. So we're sitting here in the PMDG Boeing 737. I've had it for almost a week now, and I'm beginning to slowly get reacquainted with it. Uh, Much to learn, much to remember. A lot of menus and sub menus and stuff like that, but I'm glad to finally have it. So we're sitting here in Innsbruck, and we're going to Geneva. So without further ado, let's get inside and let's get her started. I'm not going to cover the complete procedure. I mean, just in the interest of keeping this video short, but I'll show you how to get the engines going. All right, so we'll start in the overhead panel. First thing we need to actually always check that the parking brakes set. Let me turn on flashlight. We go parking brakes set. Back to the overhead panel, and we want to flip the battery switch on. So this is a guard that protects it, but once you close this guard, it actually flips on the switch. So there it is. And at the same time while we're here, we'll hit the emergency light switch, right? And the next thing we want to do is connect ground power. To connect ground power, we're going to go down to the FMC and go to FS Actions. Actually, while we're here, I just want to show you guys just some of the menus that this thing has. I mean, it has endless menus, but just for example, and these are all like airline selectable. They will select which equipment, displays, and so forth. But there's 15 pages in this menu. There's so much that you can configure. You just keep going through all the pages. And the displays menu has like 9 pages. And there's other sub menus and different stuff. So I really like that. It gives you all these choices to customize it the way you like. What we need right now is the ground services menu. There's 4 pages here, by the way. But we need to request ground power. So once we request that and go back to the overhead panel, this blue light above the ground power label will illuminate. There it is, ground power is available. Boom. And we click that. So I want to increase the brightness on this panel so I can turn off my flashlight. And now while I'm here, I'll go to the upper overhead panel and get the IRS's aligning. This is for navigation, GPS. We got those guys aligning. And the next thing we want to do is get the APU going, the auxiliary power unit, so we can take it off of ground power. So to do that, it's going to need fuel. Actually, let me turn on the fuel damper. It's going to need fuel. So it's going to draw fuel from the forward left tank for this. This is the APU switch here. So you put it to the on position, click and hold it. And now that goes to the start position. It's giving me a fault. I've seen this fault before. I haven't figured it out yet, but I know how to work around it. So I'll just do this again. Gotta wait it out. And there it is. So you see what we're waiting for is for the EGT, or exhaust gas temperature. It's gonna max out between 600 and 800 degrees. It just peaked, and now it'll settle down somewhere around 400 degrees. Once that happens, then the APU generator bus transfers, I'll be able to click these buttons. So this light will illuminate. It should be this light right here. There it is. And now she's on APU power. Alright, so we got that going. And we want to check our fire suppression systems. So use my flashlight for this. So let's get a little closer here. So rotate this over here. And there you are, they all illuminated. That's what you want to check for. You want to check the oral warning over here. 1, 2, 3, that's engine 1, engine 2, and the APU. So that worked, that's good. And this is how you test the fire extinguishers themselves. You will make sure these lights illuminate for engine 1, engine 2, and the APU. There you go. Actually, one more thing. I didn't plan to cover this, but this is really quick. If I could show it. Where's the oxygen thing? You click this here. With my flashlight again. And you can hear that the oxygen, the crew oxygen system is working. All right, cool. All right, so next thing to do is we got the aircraft on APU power. Go back to the overhead panel, and before we request ground and everything to start pushing us back, and there's a few more things I want to show you, but let's go to the FMC. Also, you have to make sure that whenever the aircraft powered, that this light is on so that people know that the aircraft is on. You see it on the wingtips there, and okay, that light is on. So now, really cool things to show you guys real quick. Telling me enter the IRS position. While I do that, let me quickly go to the captain side lights. So let's brighten up this a little bit. And brighten up this. And we don't want that much in here, so let's bring back a little bit on it. Very sensitive, so I'll bring it down a little bit. Let's go ahead and do the lower the pedestal while we're here. Same here. Bring up these lights so I can see them. And turn on the floodlights here. Alright, back to the FMC. It's telling me enter IRS position. GPS is ready to align, so what I'll do is go to menu, FMC, index, position. This first one is where the aircraft is actually at, so I'll click that and put it into here to tell the airplane where it's at. Now this is cool. I mean, you could go in and put in the origin and destination and do all that, but since I already did it in SimBrief, this is really cool. You can just bring it in. You can just upload it. So I'm starting at Innsbruck, which is LOWI, and I'm going to Geneva, which is LSGG. LSGG. Put that in the company route and request a flight plan. Now we just wait here, and it'll say something like route uplink ready. And once that's ready, I could just click to load it. There it is, route uplink ready, load, route uplink loading, and it's going to put in my entire flight plan. I don't have to worry about doing all the putting the departure stuff, the en route stuff, the arrival stuff. Activate it, and in a second here I'll show you, but I know I'm taking off the runway, so let me just put that in. So now if I go to my legs page, it's all in there. The performance is not yet in here yet because I haven't pulled that down yet, but the whole flight plan is in there. Alright, so while I'm here, I'll just do the performance stuff too. But now, if we go back to the upper overhead, rotate these to navigate, the GPS or the airplane actually knows where it's at now. It knows where it's at, and that magenta line represents its flight plan. So it knows where it's at and knows where it's going. And let's pull in the performance data also. Perf init request is performance init request. We'll request that. Same deal. It'll tell me when it's ready. And it saves me from having to do all the calculations all over and putting all this stuff in here. So it says perf init upload ready. There it is, execute, boom. Brought in all my performance data for my takeoff. Go here to M1 limit. As far as center of gravity, if I click that once, click it again, it'll put it in there for me. I know this is going to be a flaps 5 departure. I'll put that in there. It actually has my trim in here for me now, my takeoff trim. And it put in my VREF speed. So I can just click these, put them in. V1, V-rotate, V2. Awesome. As far as that trim, that's real easy. That's right here by the throttle quadrant. I could rotate it that way, or I could just hold the trim button on my keyboard. Either way, it takes a while. But I know it's at 7.11, so I'll just get close to 7. And then my takeoff trim will be set. There are some parts of the 737 that make it feel kind of old school compared to some of the more modern airliners, but maybe that's part of the draw. Alright, so the last thing's left basically to get the engines going. You go back to the overhead panel. You want to rotate, actually first thing is the seatbelt sign, and flip all the window heat switches, all 4 of them, put them on, and then the APU bleed. Well, first over here you want to make sure the recirculation fan that's on auto, both of your packs are off, the isolation valve is open, then you put the bleed switch down. And now to ignite the engine is super easy. Just want to do a couple of outside stuff first. Let's go to menu and PMDG actions, ground services, release the ground power, remove the ground chucks, and I think there's one door that's open. It's closing actually. Beautiful. Now we go outside. This stair is going to be pulling away pretty soon here. So I know I got to turn on a couple lights here to alert the ground personnel that the aircraft is about to turn on and move. So I'll go ahead and put on my taxi lights because I'm going to be taxiing soon anyway. And the beacon lights. Well, I don't know what they call on the Boeing yet, but I'll figure it out. On the Airbuses, they're called beacon lights. I'll put on that. There we go. And now, very easy. To turn on the engines, overhead panel. In here is where your igniters are. So put this one, the ignition switch to the engine number 1. Rotate it to ground. No, it didn't go to ground. I needed one more click. Rotate that to ground. Turn on the fuel flow for that engine. And you'll see it start to come to life here. There it is, and you can actually start hearing it too. So that's number 1 coming to life, and same deal for number 2. But you'll see first that when number 1 is ready, this switch will go back to the auto position. Any second now. Go outside real quick. Get ready to give you guys a view of this one. Alright, it rotated back. So now we go to the other side. We'll do the same. Turn on the fuel flow to that engine. And we should see this one start to come to life now. There it is, it's coming to life. And then finally, once you got them both going, and when it's time for takeoff, you want to recenter this switch, and you want to put these both on continuous, both engines on continuous, because during takeoff you want those to be on continuous power. This is just a procedural thing, it's a safety thing, it's required. So that was a brief intro into the PMDG Boeing 737. Again, I'm getting reacquainted with it, and I'm glad to finally have it. And hopefully you guys find this information. All right, bye.